Welcome to Wednesday night story time. I really miss you guys, so I decided to do story time this week. And so for the next couple weeks, I'm going to try to do story time with you, and we're going to be talking about a man named Paul. So let's get started with our story. Saul was one of the scariest dudes in the Bible. He traveled from city to city, arresting people who loved Jesus. If punishing Jesus followers was a sport, he would be voted most valuable player. Paul loved Jesus more than life itself. He traveled from city to city, spreading the good news about Jesus and his love. If following Jesus were a sport, Paul would be voted most valuable player. Now, prepare your minds to be blown. Saul and Paul were the same person. Yep, Saul went by Saul, and he also went by Paul. And he has an amazing story. When Paul was younger, Paul didn't believe that Jesus was God's son. And when people disagreed with Paul, it made him very mad. So madder than your mom if you get permanent marker on the sofa or crayon on the wall. Madder than your dad if you slam your bike accidentally into his car. Madder than your teacher when the class acts like a pack of wild gorillas. So Paul started hunting Jesus followers and throwing them in prison. But wait, if Paul was a Christian hater, how did he become one of the greatest Christians who ever lived? I'm glad you asked. Paul and some other men were traveling to a town called Damascus to arrest more Jesus followers. Without warning, a light brighter than the sun flashed from the sky and a voice thundered down. "Paul, Paul, why are you hurting me? I am Jesus, the one you are opposing. Now get up and go to the city. There you will be told what you must do." Who is this? Paul's men led him into Damascus, where he stayed blind for 3 days. That's right, that bright light blinded him. He couldn't see a thing. In Damascus, a Jesus follower, the kind of guy Paul used to arrest, named Ananias, heard Jesus speak to him. "Ananias, I need you to go to the house where Paul is staying and ask to see him." Ananias was really afraid, but he obeyed anyway. When Ananias found Paul, he put his hands on him and prayed for him. Paul's sight returned. He regained his strength, but most importantly, he knew that Jesus was God's son. After Paul met Jesus, everything changed. He was brand new. He was more like the Paul we've come to know and love. Paul, the MVP of following Jesus. Out of everyone Jesus could have chosen to be his most valuable player, he chose Paul, a guy who had done a lot of terrible things. It's easy for us to see ourselves as someone Jesus wouldn't or couldn't use. Maybe we don't feel smart enough, or brave enough, or good enough. But when Paul met Jesus, it changed everything. And we know that the story of Jesus has the power to change everything for you too. Change. What is a scientific word for change? Does anybody know? I'll write it down for you. It's kind of a big word, but we're going to write it anyway. Metamorphosis. So, has anyone ever heard that word before? Metamorphosis? We're going to do a drawing activity that's going to incorporate Saul and Paul. So first, there's a beautiful creature that changes. And that's what metamorphosis means, a complete change. So we're going to start out with drawing a caterpillar. So we want to draw a circle and then some circles that connect right behind one another. And we'll add some feet, maybe some eyes, a nose, and a pretty smile. Little antennas. And we're going to name this creature Saul. So then, once metamorphosis or change takes place, okay, we get a beautiful creature called, let's put some antennas here, eyes, nose, and a smile, called a butterfly. Now you guys can draw this on your own and decorate it however you want. Maybe put some little dots, some pretty lines. Butterflies look however we want them to look when we're drawing. Let's see. Let's do that so we can put some hearts down here, right? But more importantly, what are we going to name this butterfly? We are going to name this butterfly Paul, because Saul changed into Paul. And that's what our metamorphosis word means, change. This story is found in the book of Acts, chapter 7, 34 through 60, and chapter 9, verses 1 through 25, if you want mom or dad to read it to you again. I hope you guys enjoyed this week. Remember to draw your caterpillar, draw your butterfly, and always remember that Jesus can change everything. We love you, and we'll see you next week, guys. Have a great week.